eyes, behind the leather face drawn in pain, comes a time the best among us dies, and only fond memories remain. He slowly raised a calloused hand and said, "Don't you shed no tears for anyone. See you soon in a better place in time when kingdom comes. When kingdom comes, every teardrop will be dried from every eye. Men of war will plague the earth no more. Hungry babies will no longer cry."
Good evening, everybody. My name is Michael McCutcheon, and welcome to another episode of Humanity Matters. And today we're going to have a topic amongst the cast here, and here is our host, Albert Torcaso.
Hey, what do you know? Yes, tonight we're having a chat with the cast, but check this out, everybody. That means you call in, because guess what? You're our unofficial members of the cast. We need our viewers to call in at 412-231-2288. And what was that number again, Annette?
412-321-2288.
No, 231.
Sorry, 231-2288. My fault.
What was it?
412-231-2288.
Oh, okay, here we go. 231-2288 with a 412 area code.
Yeah, I said 412.
Say it one more time, real fast. No, I'm
412-231-2288.
I'm kidding. Kathy, what's that number?
412-224.
That's right there, Kathy. Come on in.
412-231-22. Is that a 3 or 1?
No, it's 412-231-2288.
Hey, I don't have no glasses on, and that's
Oh my goodness. People call in because they're cracking me up here. We're not supposed to be laughing here. We got a show to do here.
Well, let's do it. Let's get on and roll.
Well, actually, I'll tell you what. We have some things to talk about today, but what's not funny is I'm sure all of you seen the big stuff on the news about Robin Williams. Well, I just looked at the update, and unfortunately, apparently he hung himself. He killed himself. And I'm going to be very brutally honest about the whole thing. It ticks me off that he did this to himself. I mean, look, I'm going to call it as I see him. You know, I feel like we were cheated out of future years with him as audience members, and in a sense, you almost felt like he was family. So, yeah, I'm ticked off that he did it, but at the same time, you know, I have a lot of questions. What caused him to do it? Now, I understand that he had alcoholism that he was trying to overcome, and possibly drugs, according to some reports, and possible mental health issues. But it's odd to me that he even was going back to try to, you know, help himself. He apparently went back to rehab for a while. So it's just really strange that it came to that. There's a lot of speculation. I can't say what happened. I don't know what happened. But I found it in my heart last night to finally say, you know what? I got to forgive the guy. Because we don't know what happened. But what's weird about it is here's a man who has so many so-called friends in the industry and out, and yet nobody was able to connect with him on a level that kept him from killing himself. And for me, that is very hard to take. But it also demonstrates to me that the mental health industry and the anti-alcoholism industry and drugs, there's still so much that is not being done. Either, I don't want to say incorrectly, not doing it, but it's not getting the job done. When we are losing people like Robin to suicide, or we are losing children to killing themselves after they have school shootings, school stabbings. When we have unprecedented violence on their self or on other people, then there's only one logical conclusion, and the mental health industry is not going to like what I have to say, but there is only one conclusion. The industry as a whole has a black eye, a blue eye, a green eye, whatever color you want to add to it. They're not getting the job done. Now, that may seem like I'm condemning everybody in the industry. I'm not, but they're also playing with laws that handicaps them to some degree. There's this thing called the HIPAA law. That HIPAA law has provisions in it that supposedly protects each patient, each consumer. But in reality, it has killed too many people. It has caused too much harm. The HIPAA law has to be redone or gone. But getting back to Robin, it hurts really, really bad that he's gone for so many reasons. And, you know, I brought this up. We were in the green room in the lobby before the show. I brought this up. I said, you know, maybe he was on medications, and maybe side effects of the medications caused him to become more suicidal and killed himself. Because here's the reason why I brought that up. If all of you out there in TV world listen to these commercials by the so-called legal drug dealers, yeah, I call them what they are. They're drug dealers. The legalized drug dealers. They come on TV, here, try this drug, whatever it is. And by the way, side effects may include causing you to become more suicidal, diarrhea, constipation, and or death. I mean, come on. So maybe just possibly it was a side effect. Because here's what we need to know. Here's what we know. We know the man was seeking treatment. We know the man went back to rehab. And we know the man is dead. Mm-hmm. There's got to be a reason for it. Now, what really gets to me is you have across the board, around the globe, famous and non-famous people saying, he was a wonderful friend. He was a wonderful man. I loved him. I met him, and yada, yada, yada. Yet, and I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm being accusatory, but I have to ask the question. It's my job as a decent journalist. Where were they?
That's right, Al.
Why is this man dead?
That's right.
You have all these friends, all these people love you. Why is the man dead?
That's right.
He was seeking help. Why is the man dead? He went to rehab. Why is the man dead?
He was just there like last
I
month.
mean, it doesn't make sense to me. And I am not pleased. Now, I have to say, getting back to the mental health industry, I've witnessed incompetence. I've witnessed sweeping stuff under the rug. I have personally talked to people and said to me, we can't listen to what you have to say because they didn't fill out a piece of paper. We can't listen to what you have to say because even though they didn't necessarily say it's okay to talk about this. We can't listen to the symptoms. We can't listen to the solution. So I have something to say to the entire mental health industry around the globe, not just in the United States, not just in Pittsburgh, PA, but around the globe. It is time you listen to the family members, to the strangers, and to the person with the mental health problem. Or I won't even say problem, challenge, because so many people are in recovery. But to say that I'm angry about it coming to the point that another human being is dead over incompetence, nonsensical laws, and frankly, laziness and ignorantness. I'm sick of it. Robin shouldn't be dead. I personally have family members that have mental illness. So many times I tried to get them the proper help. You know what happened? Nothing. So when I hear about people killing themselves, or I hear about school shootings, or any of that, first, the media wants to condemn and blame the person that did it. And then they want to come up, oh, he had mental illness, and they want to stigmatize. But I don't hear them saying on the mainstream media or asking the question, why did this person not receive the proper help? And I believe the federal government, Food and Drug Administration, needs to get on their behind with all these drugs out there, because every single day on every single TV station in America, we're hearing about buy these drugs, and then we're hearing the side effects at the end of the commercial,
Yeah.
including death and causing you to be maybe a little bit more, suicidal.
Yep.
Don't you think America and the United States and Pittsburgh, PA, don't you think maybe there's a little something wrong with that? I have problems physically that I'm on freaking medicines that have side effects. That's right, Diane. I'm on medicines that have side effects. But I am like a piranha when it comes to talking to my doctor. I ask her questions that she could not even imagine. And then I don't sit around saying, well, the doctor says this is all right, so let's take this drug. You know what I do then? I go to the pharmacist and I ask them. You know what I do after that? I go to a different pharmacist that had nothing to do with me, and I ask them. So I triple, quadruple, and super check because I want to live. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, whether you're on a heart medicine, you're on a psychiatric medicine, or you're on a medicine so you don't have constipation, you need to find out what the possible side effects are. And you know what else you need to do? You need to get off that stuff. Now, how do you do that? Well, you work on being healthier, and you talk to homeopathic doctors. But getting back to the beginning of this, we need to find out as much as we can as to why people are killing themselves when they're supposedly in treatment. Now, that's my 9 cents in it. I want your 9 cents at 412-231-2288. That's 412-231-2288. 412-231-2288. Hey, not too bad. I almost did a little bit faster. 412-231-2288. 412-231-2288. Hey, not too bad. But at any rate, that's my 9 cents. We want your 9 cents. But you know what? I got me a couple ladies over here and a Mr. McCutcheon. So somebody got to volunteer to start speaking out. Who wants to go first? Mike, Annette, or Kathy? Start speaking out. You're up. I'm shutting up, so somebody better say something.
Well, I'll have to agree with Mr. Torcaso here. I don't think the mental health agency is doing as much as they could do. If we take a look back, remember the Sandy Hook incident where that young boy walked into a school with an automatic weapon? God, I don't know how he did it, but he did it. And he wasted a whole kindergarten class. An entire kindergarten class was literally wiped out because of a man with mental health issues that was not getting the proper treatment.
Right.
And another thing I agree with Mr. Torcaso about is Robin Williams was known all over the world. He had all these friends. Where were they? Just like Michael Jackson, where was his family? Where were all them people that were so-called concerned about him? The ones that he was giving money to every day, Albert.
Yep.
I agree totally with Mr. Torcaso. The mental health agency needs to do more. They need to step up to the plate, basically.
Well, let me just say, I'm going to let the two young ladies say their things. But yeah, I have to condemn some of the so-called people that are saying they miss them and all that. You know what? They're famous people, and they're his best friends and all that. I'm sorry, but where were you?
Sorry.
You have some answering to do yourself. But at any rate, let the ladies get their 2 cents in, and then somebody, and it ain't gonna be me, is gonna answer our caller.
Oh, okay.
And it ain't gonna be me.
Fine,
I'll
answer.
talk to my caller, but somebody gonna answer.
You want to do it now?
Well, go ahead. But when you gonna talk about Robin after that?
Well, I could talk about Robin
We'll
right
talk
now.
about Robin, then answer the call.
Don't
Let's
be-
answer
no,
the
let's
call,
not
then
be-
talk about Robin. What you wanna do? Make up your mind. Don't you know what you're gonna do?
I'm
She
going to
don't know
talk
what
about
you're
Robin.
gonna do,
I'm going to talk
America.
about Robin.
Well, don't tell me, tell
I'm
them.
going to talk about Robin. I don't. It's a sad.
not funny, though. That's
it's
not
a
funny.
sad situation
It is.
that happened to him.
Yeah.
Like I agree with Al and I agree with Mike. where was the people who said they cared for him and loved him? I mean, they just turn their head and walk away?
Where was his wife?
Who knows? Nobody
Where was
knows.
his children?
Who knows?
Where was
Nobody
his friends?
knows. Nobody knows.
Ay,
It was just a
ay,
sad
ay.
thing. I mean, like I do agree. The whatever you want to call them,
Mental health
the mental health people need to step up on the plate and do their job the right way instead of sweeping it over under the rug. It's wrong. There's a lot of people out in the world that really needs the help, and they don't get the proper help they need because it's swept underneath the rug, which is wrong.
And not only that, it's causing all these shootings
Yes,
and
yes, it
suicides
does.
and everything
Yes,
else.
look at the school in Colorado. What happened
What
with
about
that?
Pittsburgh?
What about
That Franklin Regional
Okay,
thing.
yeah, I forgot about that. Thank you.
Mhm.
There's so much going on around the world in our own community, in towns. No one, they're just closing their eyes to and not worrying about what's going on.
And I'm going to say one thing before we get the call.
Okay.
I'm going to call it as I see him. Some of the people in the mental health field, I'm going to call it as I see him. Y'all have the job.
But you just don't want to
No,
do
no,
the
wait,
job.
no, I
They
ain't
don't
done
want-
yet. I ain't done yet.
ahead.
That's nice you said that. Y'all have the job, but you got it to get paid.
Yep.
And you got that job to be a lazy son of a you-know-what.
Yeah.
And I ain't going to say it, but a son of a witch. And you can change that letter around when you feel like it.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? I'm tired of the lazy workers. Now, there are good workers out there.
There is.
There are good doctors, psychologists, psychiatrists, therapists, peer specialists, yada, yada, yada. There's good.
Yep.
But for the bad, as I always say, if you ain't doing right, get ready to say goodnight. But now you got to answer a phone call.
Okay, caller. Hello, you there? Hello,
Okay,
caller.
it's Diane, it's just me.
Uh-oh,
Hi,
this is
Diane.
me. Uh-oh, we in trouble again.
But I have a question for you. I watched the 5 o'clock news, and Robin Williams' wife was asleep when he did this. He he cut his arm, and then he hanged himself with a belt. I watched it on the 5 o'clock
Okay.
news. But here's a question for all of you. What movies did you all like about Robin Williams? Did you like that movie with?
Oh, what do we like about Robin?
I like his
I want you to everyone in his name what's your favorite movie of Robin Williams, since we're talking about Robin Williams, and well, you know, that's a shame he did it, and he did get help. We all know that, but maybe his wife should have helped him too. You know what I mean?
Yes, I agree.
Well, you know,
Did you like that movie? And did everybody like that movie? Good Morning Vietnam. Did everybody
I saw
like this
that.
movie? I want everybody on this panel, start from anywhere you want, and tell the audience what was your favorite movie you liked about your favorite movie about Robin Williams. How about you, Al? You go first and go down the line.
well, first of all, let me just make a quick comment. If his wife was asleep when he did this, obviously we cannot necessarily blame her.
Right, that's
However, I
What's
got a
my
big
question?
however. You can hold on, Diane. We got a big however here. Even yet and still, don't you think the wife should know that her husband just ain't right?
Right, I
Yeah,
agree.
wasn't there some
Yes.
kind of
There's
warning
got to be
sign?
Exactly,
something
yeah.
going on.
I
So
agree.
you know what? Again, I'm not trying to assign blame, but I have questions. Because how can you not know if something's going down if he's already going back a couple months ago and all that stuff? I got a
Like
problem.
last
But
month,
Diane
last
asked the question, so I'm going to answer it.
Okay.
I don't really have a favorite movie or project that Robin had done. I have to say
Or did you
I
like
like most of what he's done. Most of what he's done I liked. I liked the movie Patch Adams. It was funny. I liked the Night of the Museums. I liked the fact that in the Night of the Museum, he played, I think it was, I don't remember what president it was, but it might have been, Theodore Roosevelt, I believe. And he always, no matter what the movie was, his emotions, his connectiveness to the audience, and his compassion came through. His comedy, his drama, didn't matter. you felt it. And he kind of reminds me a little bit like Jimmy Stewart in as much as you always connected, you always believed it, you always felt with it. And I seen Robin in a movie, and I don't remember the name, where he was kind of a bad guy, and he worked at like a Walmart type of store. I don't remember the movie, and he was kind of a stalker. Even in that movie, he was good at what he did, what he had done. So, Diane, I can't really answer your question except to say
Well, how about
most
the
of what he
rest of
did,
the
I
audience
like.
here? What did they have a favorite movie?
Well, they probably do, but we're going to go ahead and...
Well, maybe you should talk about some of his things you liked about him. I know, I mean, maybe Robin Williams should have told his wife how his problems was. You know what I mean? You should.
We don't know
talk
what
about his
happened.
Family members. Maybe that's what he should have done.
Well, Diane, we're going to get ready for the next call, and I'm going to let
Okay,
the...
Al, you be careful if you see bad weather tonight and wear that seatbelt.
Oh, I'll be
You
wearing-
know to put that seatbelt on because I know you're going to talk about seatbelts.
All right. Well, let's
Okay,
start off
we
with...
all love you and Lord loves you too. Take care. God bless.
You
Okay.
too.
All right, forget about it. We'll see you later, Diane. Let's start with Mike. What favorite projects, if any, did you have of Robin?
The only real memory I have of Robin Williams was a show called Mork and Mindy.
Yeah.
I grew up watching.
Did you watch any of his movies,
But
though?
I can't really say I was a fan of the man.
Well,
but
you
I-
didn't watch,
I-
like, Night at the Museum or anything?
No, I can't recall
Okay.
nothing that he ever played in other
Okay.
than Mork and Mindy. But
Yeah.
you know what I can say
That
about
made-
Robin Williams? He always seemed to have that pleasant. There was always something pleasant about him. You know, when they interviewed him, he was always, gave you a smile or something. And like I said, it's a truly sad tragedy, Mr.
Right.
Torcaso, that there were people out there that need help that aren't
Yeah.
getting it, Mr. Torcaso.
And they're not getting it.
And it's so sad because we sit here and we blame, we point the finger at certain peoples and establishments, But I'm just saying, his wife didn't see something. Wasn't there some kind of warning
Or
sign?
his friends.
Or his
I don't get
friends?
that.
I mean, I don't understand.
I don't get that. I'm sorry.
Where was
I don't get
his
that.
loved ones and friends?
Right.
Exactly.
That's my.
I agree with you, Mike.
That's where I have a big problem with it. But on the other hand, there are people who can really hide stuff. But I don't think
And
he
he
was
was-
trying to hide it, because if he
but
was
he-
trying to hide it, he wouldn't be talking about it publicly in his own act.
Right.
Because he did it in.
So I think they dropped the ball.
When he was on HBO comedy,
Right.
he always put that into his routine. And it's like, oh, he's talking about alcohol or he's talking about mental illness. It's like, oh my goodness. And he says, and I'm one of them. And it's like, oh my gosh, I never realized it. And it's like, and then he goes into movies, and it's like, my favorite movie of his, there's quite a few. There's Peter Pan, what was called Hook.
Right.
And there's Mrs. Doubtfire. Oh, Mrs.
Yeah.
Doubtfire makes me laugh.
Right.
And there's other couple.
I like
ones
Night at the Museum.
I
That's
had never
funny.
seen that one yet, so
Oh,
that's why
you
I
gotta
didn't
see
know
that
about
one. That's cool. That's
But
cool.
there's quite a few the movies I enjoyed of his, and I sat there, and even in his serious movies he had done, like Patch Adams. That was a
Yeah.
pretty serious movie.
It was
he
funny,
done.
but it was serious.
Yes, because it was about cancer.
And it was also about how that doctor changed lives.
Yes, it's very true. And he did it. It's like when he had a serious role, he made sure it was he put his whole heart into the movie.
yeah.
I mean, it's like no matter what he'd done in his lifetime, he made sure it captured your heart.
Right.
And that's what it's going to be sad about him when him being gone.
Yeah, it's a rough
It's
one.
going to be sad.
It's
you're
rough
right,
because,
you're right.
and it's rough for me because I personally, I really liked him. I'm not saying it's singling it out, but I really liked him a lot. And a lot of other people that we've lost lately.
Yeah, like
But
Michael
the thing
Jackson.
about Robin was I really had a connection with him to some degree. But now the worst part of it is on August the 16th, back in '77, Elvis died.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
now this week, the 11th and then the 16th,
Yeah.
that's a 5-day difference. For the rest of history, I'll remember that.
Yeah, I think we all will.
And it's sad because, the 16th of August is not a good day for me either because I was a huge Elvis fan. And I can recall in '77 exactly where I was when I learned that he had died. And actually, I had read a day-old newspaper. I didn't know the day he died. I didn't even know he died.
Wow.
It was the next day that I found out because, and people know some of my history, I was put away in a home for missing school back when I was a youth because I would not go to school because I was physically and psychologically abused by just about everybody and their mother. And that's because I was told by certain people, including my family, I could not get in any fights. So there was a song back in the late 70s, early 80s by Kenny Rogers. It was called Coward of the County. Well, everybody in school thought I was the coward of the school. Even the so-called wimps beat me up to the point where I almost got killed a couple times. Okay, so what happened was I basically was taken away, put into a home, and abused by the system. So believe me, I'm no fan of the child welfare system. I'm definitely no fan of the Pittsburgh public school system. As a matter of fact, I can't stand them, but we won't go there. We might go there another time, not now. But at any rate, when Elvis Presley died, I was in a plane heading from Pittsburgh, PA to Scranton. And it was a very traumatic time. I was being taken away hundreds of miles from my family. So to top it all off, I happened to pick up this newspaper, and then I find out one of the people that I really considered like a hero, or I just liked his music a lot. It's like, you're leaving home, you're being kicked away, you're being ripped apart, then all of a sudden Elvis died.
Oh, wow.
So you can imagine August the 11th, and August the 16th, and August the 17th, not good days in my life. But let me tell you something. One thing I am very proud of the fact is, with all this stuff going down, even today, even about Robin, I keep moving forward. We keep moving forward.
It's very true.
Nice.
And that should be a testament to the fact that we can overcome everything. And that doesn't matter if you have mental illness. It doesn't matter if you're a paraplegic. You can overcome everything, babe. Family and friends. I don't know where the baby came from. I almost said baby face or something. But you can, ladies and gentlemen, you can overcome just about everything. I don't know where baby face came from. I don't know. I'm not drunk. I don't drink alcohol, but baby face. I didn't mean you. I didn't mean the singer baby face. I don't know where that came from. Well, we care about Babyface the singer too, but I wasn't talking about him. I don't know where Babyface came from. It's like I must have one of those ghosts come in me and bring Babyface up. I was possessed for a minute. But seriously though, it's no secret that some of the people on this panel
That's true.
has mental health issues. And we're kicking butt and taking names. And let me tell you something. If you're a person that stigmatizes people, this is off the subject, but a little bit off the subject. If you have a problem with being around people with mental health issues or whatever reason, maybe you don't like people because of the color of their hands or whatever, maybe you're prejudiced, sexist, racist, whatever it is, let me tell you something. In every aspect of life, everything you don't like, everybody you hate, they're all around you. You don't think that people with mental illness, you don't have any contact with them. I bet you probably, if you're that kind of a person, if you stigmatize, you don't think you have any interaction with them. I got news for you. You have judges, mental illness. Presidents of the United States, mental illness. Doctors, mental illness. Lawyers, mental illness. Bus drivers, mental illness. Your next door neighbor, mental illness. The point that I'm making, by the way, TV, the mainstream media, in the newsroom, who stigmatizes and acts wrong about mental illness, guess what? Some of their own reporters, mental illness. So you might want to get the clue. Quit stigmatizing everybody.
That's true. I agree.
That's what you got to do. Love everybody. Help everybody. And the mental health industry, get a clue.
I feel this way. If you.
But at any rate, next, who's up next? And then we're going to move on to something else.
I feel this way. If you believe in the Lord and you go to church, you shouldn't judge people by what they have.
Well, even if you're an
know.
atheist, you shouldn't do that.
No matter what, you shouldn't judge nobody because God don't like that. I mean, that's
But-
just ugly.
But I do want to say, people with every kind of challenge are succeeding in life.
It's true.
So don't try to put them into some kind of a stigmatized or
Right.
your own version or vision of what they are. Because We have people on the Pittsburgh Steelers, I guarantee you, there's
Yeah.
people with
Yeah.
alcoholism, mental
Yeah.
illness, you name it.
It's true.
Pittsburgh Pirates, guess what? Same thing.
Exactly.
Penguins, you name it. How about the LA Lakers? You name it. What about the LA Clippers? Hey, well, what about the Chicago White Sox? Don't matter.
It doesn't matter. Don't.
Even professional wrestlers, guess what?
That's
Same
true.
thing. Point is, what's the point of this tirade, Albert? Love people. How about that? Get a little love in your heart, like the song said. But with that, we're going to go somewhere else. But Annette, your final words, thoughts on mental illness, what happened to Robin, whatever. Give us your take on everything, and then we're going to go somewhere totally different. And we want some 412-231-2288 calls. Because you don't start calling, I might get your number and call you. If I had your number, I'd be like, yo, why didn't you call me? Your turn, Ned.
Well, I feel bad about Robin Williams because I liked him from when I was a kid, and I watched him on Mork and Mindy. That's how I relate to him. And I saw a couple of his movies, A Night at the Museum and Good Morning Vietnam. And my take on mental illness is there's people who have mental illness, but they don't want to address it. And so they end up doing things that they shouldn't do or they regret doing. And instead of doing that, they should get help so that they can be prevented from making a mistake or, committing a crime or something that they wouldn't do if they were stable. And there's too many shootings and stabbings and killing people, and it's disgusting. It needs to stop.
I agree.
So stop them in their tracks by helping them, because that's what it is. It's a cry for help, and you shouldn't ignore it. Or you have to convince. It's not easy to convince people sometimes that they have a problem and it's escalating before it's too late, before they carry out an act or something that they're going to regret. Not just their victim, but them. So you want to prevent it so their victim doesn't become a victim, for starters, and they don't become a perpetrator.
Well, I would agree with you to an extent. That's definitely true. But
It is true.
my problem I have with is when the person does seek help and doesn't receive it the way they need it. And honestly, I have a big problem with these legalized drug dealers commercials on TV.
Oh, I know.
And I'm sorry, but I'm going to call it as I see them. Mainstream conventional doctors push drugs on you.
And they're constantly
They're drug
calling
pushers.
you.
I'm sorry I care about doctors. I have a good doctor. But I don't know how many doctors who hasn't prescribed some medicine for almost every patient they have. It's like a legalization of drugs. What's the difference between doing crack cocaine, heroin, or these legal drug dealers on TV? And the thing that gets me the most about these commercials is they'll say, like Abilify or some other one, when they say the side effects possibly increasing suicide, my first question when I hear that is, why in the bloody heck, and you know the other word,
Make it
when I
public.
take this? If I'm having a problem, what if a person's already suicidal? And then they take this, and it gets worse. It doesn't make sense.
You don't.
And I think the FDA needs to stop this bombardment on our TVs, on our internet, on our cellular devices, on the freaking billboards. And then you have the other drug dealers, the cigarettes, and now the alcohol on TV. I mean, if you look at
That kills
society,
more people than any other drug.
Right.
Is alcohol.
And
What
it's
about
like,
the drug
we need
dealers
to
out there
stop
on the
this.
streets?
Personally, I will say this. I don't like illegal drugs. I certainly don't like people dealing illegal drugs, crack, any of that. But I have to be honest about something. All the illegal drugs in this country, probably maybe 3 or 4 or 5, maybe 10, maybe even $20 billion worth if we get the whole country. Maybe, okay, let's say $100 billion worth of illegal drugs every year in the United States. $100 billion. Let's give them a really high number.
Okay.
Okay, but if we combine the so-called legal drugs, talking about the pharmacists and all that, how much you think money, just take a guess, how much money you think the pharmaceutical and the healthcare industries make combined? Just take a wild guess.
A lot, Elvis.
You want to get a guess?
A lot.
Let me give you a guess. Let me give you an answer. How about this? If you combine both industries, over $2 to $3 trillion a year. Trillion.
That's
Now,
crazy.
let's throw out the medical field, just the pharmaceuticals. 2009, they made $1 trillion. I guarantee you it's higher than that now.
Yeah.
Why? Because what do we see? We see our Walgreens everywhere we go. We see our Giant Eagle everywhere we go.
Yeah.
We see our
America is literally
wherever.
on drugs. America's
America's on drugs. Wait, let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's do that like Eddie Murphy. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry, I gotta do old school Eddie Murphy. America's on drugs. Ladies and gentlemen, America's on drugs. It's either legal or illegal, but you're on drugs. If you got your coffee, you're on drugs. If you got your Tylenol, you're on drugs. If you got your cortisone, you're on drugs. If you got your crack, you're on drugs. I mean, it's like everybody's on drugs. I'm sorry. I couldn't help myself. I'm sorry, America, and Pittsburgh and America, but everybody's on drugs. And I bet you're on drugs too. You just didn't know it yet. Like your asteroid's on drugs. Did you ever have soda? That's a drug. Did you ever have coffee? Guess what? You're on drugs. Did you smoke a cigarette? Drugs. Take crack? Drugs. Take Geritol? Drugs. Ain't nothing but drugs. America's on drugs. Oh, can you say that with me? America's on drugs.
I thought we were supposed to be serious.
I'm trying to be serious, but sometimes it can't be serious. No, but actually there is a serious point to
Yeah, I
that.
know.
All right, let me calm down. No more drugs, America. No more drugs. I'm not on drugs. Well, technically I'm on drugs because I take me some medicine for my physical problems. So I'm even on drugs, but I'm not on those drugs. I'm not on illegal drugs. I'm on legal, prescribed by the drug dealers, drug dealers, or whatever that is. Drugs. All right, for real. The point of all that, and yet, believe it or not, that's insanity, was actually to make a point. But honestly, America, you are on drugs. And I'm not trying to be ignorant. If you take heart medicine or any medicine, even if you take just Tylenol for a headache, it's a drug. So America, guess what? Most people are on drugs. So here's what a crazy idea. Absolutely revolutionary, legally revolutionary idea. Let's work on eating healthier. And let's work on doing things to do homeopathic or alternative medicine that can provide you healings of the body, mind, and soul, and get us all reducing the amount of drugs we take or off drugs completely. Because we can do this, America. I'm not trying to be a Dr. Oz. I'm not trying to be a Dr. James Weiner. But guess what? I found out something. It's true. And I can give you perfect evidence. I love eating the worst food you can imagine. So lately, about a week ago, I went to one of those fast food gas stations, right? And I was thinking, get a cheeseburger, get a hot dog, get a soft pretzel, something like that, right? That's what a lot of us get. And I said, you know what? I'm going to change up. Like in baseball, I'm going to throw a change up. I got me a salad. And I had chicken in it, had a little bit of bacon, but I had chicken, and I had green peppers, I had mushrooms, and I had black olives, and I had lettuce, and I had carrots, and a little bit of eggs. But I noticed
Sounds
something.
good, doesn't it?
I noticed something, America, and this is from a guy who don't eat vegetables most of the time. I noticed something. That whole night, I had an energy with me, and I didn't need to eat the whole night. Usually I'd be snacking with my cereal, Frosted Flakes or something. I didn't do that all night, and it told me something. Real food can change, extend, and save your life. Real food, not that processed garbage, real food. And I have to be honest, I believe the raw vegetables, not the frozen junk, not the canned junk, not even the cooked stuff, but the raw vegetables are the life changers. And you know what? A lot of other doctors, other than Oz, and those guys, I promise you, they wouldn't want me to tell you that. What happens if all of a sudden you don't need those drugs?
That's right. That's right.
So with that, and that's the truth, man. I don't usually eat salad, but I felt the difference. Man, I went home, I did so much work, she was wondering what I was on. I said, I'm on carrots. I told her I was on some carrots and some green peppers. Mm-hmm. And by the way, when I ate my salad, she had to have some. She's like, can I have some of that? I'm like, yeah, you can have some of that. But seriously though, if we eat better, that's the secret. They don't want us to know.
Yeah, but when you eat,
because we'll be all right.
Yeah.
Go ahead. When you eat, go ahead.
No, some people, if you ain't able to have all that food, it's good for them.
Right,
Because
but there's something you can have.
Right. I mean, I'm saying their money. Maybe they're.
That's not what I'm saying. Look,
if they eat, it's not. It's fun. It's good to eat.
Wait, hold
Good.
on.
But
see,
it costs money.
But hold
costs
on,
money
wait.
to
Time
do it.
out. Time out.
And here's another
No,
problem.
Time out. Go
No,
ahead.
no timeout.
Okay, we're gonna do
here's
time out
another
when you're
problem.
done.
When you
Another
watch-
problem. Go ahead. Argue with the host.
No,
Hey, woman, you
there's-
call in and argue with me too.
There's
No.
no,
412
wait a minute.
221.
There's not a timeout in this because when
Okay, go ahead.
people is on a fixed income
A broken income.
or program, whatever you want to call it.
We got another call waiting. How about you? You say what you're gonna say and then answer this call.
Okay.
Go ahead. Broken income. Go ahead.
Ain't able to get the fruits or the vegetables that they need to get the health what they need to get. Yes, it's true.
Nope. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
God bless you. That's a
I'm
delusion.
sorry, I couldn't
mean
stop.
that is an illusion. Look, I'm gonna throw this out
Go ahead.
there and then we're gonna answer the call. Let's say you're right. You have a broken income. I know, because I've been a broke asteroid man. I cleaned that up, ladies and gentlemen. I've been a broke asteroid man. We know what I mean, a BAM. Okay. But what if you can afford 1 carrot a week? I know it sounds crazy. Find a way to get 1 carrot a week, 1 apple a week, 1 pear a week, 1 piece of fruit, or 1 vegetable, and that will make a change. So we can all afford
Oh,
that.
yeah.
If we can go, I'm sorry, but if we can go to the freaking Burger King, the
Or
freaking
McDonald's,
McDonald's,
or
buy a
Wendy's.
bottle of freaking 2-liter bottle of soda or Diet Pepsi or whatever, you can
sure,
take
yeah.
that money and you can't afford it. Because
Yeah.
that is the brainwashing. We can't afford it.
True.
Yes, is it more expensive to eat healthier? You bet your potatoes it is. It's way more expensive. And there's a reason for that. Because the poor need to go. A lot of people feel if you're poor, you don't belong on the planet. Well, I'm poor for now. No, excuse me, I'm broke. But I will never be poor again.
Nice.
So my brain has gone from poverty to absolute abundance. But we got a call to do. You know what? Who did the last call?
I did.
You did?
I did.
Who are we going to throw it to? Throw it to somebody.
Mike, answer the phone, please.
Yeah, we can take the next caller, please. Are you there, caller?
Caller, I didn't scare you off. Say something, caller. Yo, caller.
I'm on. I'm on.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, this is Glenn. This is Glenn Fields, Council.
Hey, Glenn
How you doing?
Seals. How you doing, Glenn?
Yeah, I've been worried about you. You all right, though?
I'm good. I got the thumbs up.
Okay, I'm telling you so late. I'm sorry I didn't get to what's going on, but I'm still with you. I'm still on your team.
All right, that sounds good. I need to hear from you, Glenn. I'll try to
Okay,
give you...
I'll be calling you.
All right. Well, Glenn, what do you think about what we were talking about? Glenn, you still there?
I didn't get it. I got it late.
Oh, that's okay, Glenn. Well, Glenn, do you try to eat a little bit healthier now? Do you try to
Yes,
eat
I
some?
do.
Do you eat some
I'm on
vegetables?
diet.
All right. And how's mom
Yes,
doing?
I do.
Glenn, how's mom?
Going good.
That's good.
Going real good.
Listen, do me a favor. When you see Chris, Give him your phone number. Don't give it out to us. Do not give us the phone number over here because everybody will be calling you. So we don't want you to do that. But when you see Chris or somebody, get that number out again because I think I lost your phone number and I definitely want to talk to you again. And what would you have to say about how people need to love each other? What do you think about that, Glenn?
Again?
What do you think about how people need to be kind and start loving each other again? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, my thoughts on it, they should be doing that. That's positive and that's good action.
All right, well, I appreciate that, Glenn. Well, I appreciate you watching. Do you have anything you want to say to Mike?
Keep up the good work, Mike.
What's that?
Good work.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Glenn. We're going to go ahead and move forward. Thanks a lot, Glenn.
Okay, then. I'll get in contact with you. I'll leave the number on the man.
All right, sounds good. Sounds real good.
Would I be able to add something?
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, add
Thank
something.
you.
Go ahead.
Okay, I just wanted to say, like you were talking about that love thing, and actually, you know what, man, that is the answer to all of our problems right now. The suicide rate, the pill popping, the drug intake, the gang violence, the violence that's taking place on the streets of Pittsburgh.
Hello?
You know.
Okay, time out. Who's this?
Hello?
Yeah, who's this? Hello? I guess we lost the call. But we got 10 minutes left. Okay, we're going to go ahead and say the violence and keep going, Mike.
Yes, okay, it's just like that's the answer to a lot of our problems is love, dude. I mean, we can't. It's like the world. Yeah, I know. I just.
Sorry, go ahead.
But anyhow, yeah, love is the answer to all of our problems. You know, these kids that are out there shooting each other and shooting these people, they have never ever had a parent tell them that I love you. I live in the projects of Duquesne, and I guarantee you, half of the kids in this project will never hear their parents say I love you. I love you. They don't hear it, and it's like this is what we're growing up with, you know, and it's like so sad. Like America, they call us the land of the free and the brave. And it's like, dude, look at our country. Look at our country. And I'm not sitting here blaming it on the president because it takes all of us to make a country, you know. So don't go and blame the president for something that we're doing, you know. But America right now needs some serious help, Albert.
I do agree with that. Well, first of all, Mike, all of us are doing our part. And I want to say something. I seemed like I was chastising millions of people earlier when I said the mental health industry, drug industry, doctors, and all that. And you know what? I was. And I am. But I still love them spiritually. But if they're not doing right, they shouldn't be. First of all, they shouldn't be employed.
Exactly.
Second of all these drugs that people are getting, it's gone to the point where, and I've heard even doctors, non-conventional doctors say this, it's gotten to the point where the doctors that train are basically taught how to mask symptoms, but they're not really curing you.
Right.
And most people today are not being cured. These drugs don't cure you. If I stop taking all my medicines right now that I have, the pains would come back or whatever. If somebody has a heart issue and if they need it to sustain life and they didn't take it, they'd be dead.
That's right.
But we need to come up with alternatives. As far as, do I believe by yelling at people that are lazy or pushing drugs, do I really think that me doing this is going to make a massive change? Yes, I do. Because I think if I do it, then Kathy does it, then Annette does it, then you do it, then you tell 10 people and 10 people and 10 people, yes. Because look, we've got to find a better way. And I have to say something about Dr. Oz and Dr. Weiner and Dr. Gallagher, all these other doctors, and they were on Channel 13. But so many of these guys, even Dr. Amen, okay, they're starting to show, scientifically prove, if we eat in a different way, and if we take supplements, and if we do certain things, most people can reduce, and so a lot of people can actually get rid of those drugs and heal. That's the thing. What if you change your lifestyle and you don't just get better, you completely heal? It's been proven.
It's a fact.
You can do that.
It's a
I'm
fact.
not saying everybody's going to do that.
No.
We're not saying that, but there's a chance. Why not take that chance?
I have something to say about.
Oh, she has something to say. I'm in trouble. Go
no.
ahead.
We talk about Dr. Oz and all these doctors. Well, they mean well, but there's one problem that I have.
Uh-oh.
Go for it, Nick.
She's going to pick on Dr.
Where
Oz. You got
are
5 minutes.
People want to eat healthier, and they can, if they can afford it or not afford it, it's not the issue. I mean, that is, but what I'm saying is, where are they? Wait a minute.
Well, make it
You
fast.
don't give me a chance to talk.
No, I will. Go talk all you want.
Go ahead.
You got 5 minutes.
Where are these? Where are these foods and that?
I see what
You
you're
can eat healthier if you could buy them in the store, but they're talking about. I watch their shows.
You mean ingredients?
They're fruits and vegetables and ingredients and spices and all that. That's all well and good, but it doesn't help not to have them available.
True. That's true.
I mean, you look everywhere for these items, and it's like looking for a needle in a haystack.
Okay, well, real quickly, we only have about a minute and a half, caller. How about you get the call real quick?
Caller?
And I agree with what you're saying. It is harder to find a lot of these ingredients. Go ahead.
Caller, you're on.
Hello, Al. This is Mitch from the Mitch Connection. How you doing?
How you doing, Mitch? Mish? I'm sorry. How you doing, Mish? I call you Michelle, but Mish.
Yes.
You're messing me up, Michelle, Mish.
I just wanted to say that I'm enjoying this show,
Oh,
and it's nice to see you up and running. And I do agree. Of course, people have to make, healthier choices.
Yeah.
I know we don't have a lot of time, but healthier choices. If people can learn how to grow their own garden, and might actually help towards.
There you go.
Of course, not buying it so much from the produce, but also, producing their own good vegetables. Also, rest in peace, Robin Williams. I've lost someone earlier this year by taking their own life.
Sorry to
hear that, Miss.
Yeah, you can't blame the people around them. People make choices that they want to leave this earth, but I have a message for everyone who thinks about that as a choice to leave this earth. Please just reach out. Please speak up about your feelings. You're not alone. No matter how you feel, you need to speak up.
Amen.
Amen to that. Thanks, Mish. And before we go, because we're running out of time, Mish, we got to hear you sing again, so you need to come back.
Oh.
We got to get one of Pittsburgh's best singers back on the show.
Oh. Thank you, Al.
You're welcome. Well, I guess we're gonna get ready to close down. Looks like we got another call, but I don't think we have time. I can't see that we would have time. I don't know, John, if we can get them through, go for it if they're there.
Hi, Al.
Yep.
I just wanted to mention that Flubber is one of my favorite movies of all time, and I really just, thinking about Robin Williams, it makes me think about good things. So I'm glad that you guys talked about him, and I just want to say, really big fan of the show, really big fan of Flubber. All right?
Okay. You have a nice night, man.
You too.
Yeah, my favorite I probably was Patch Adams, like I said, in Night of the Museum. That's funny. Well, thanks for calling in. Well, we're going to get ready to close down, so I don't think we're going to take any more calls. Guys and gals, I've been trying to talk about some sound-offs, the high fructose, and also some things from the last episode, but we're going to have another another episode on the 25th of September. I don't know if it's going to be live or if it's going to be in the morning, but it's going to be the 25th of September 2014. So look for us that day, September 25th, 2014. And I promise, no matter who we have on, if we have the President of the United States, We're going to find room to talk about high fructose because even though I only have 2 minutes, high fructose is put in many, many things in place of regular sugar. And it has been proven to cause additional medical problems. And I want to see it gone from all items. But even though we have about 40 seconds left, I'm guessing, why don't we have Mike say a quick 10-second goodbye and go from there, or so long, or whatever?
Okay, well, you know, I'm very honored to be here, Albert. I appreciate you having me as a co-host. You, Kathy, Annette. I really love being a part of this group here, and thank you, Albert. Thank you so much.
Give me a high five real quick. Yo!
Thank you, Albert.
Well, guys, ladies, hurry up. You got about 10 seconds. About 2 seconds. I don't know.
I just want to say,
30 seconds. Go, 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 go.
I just want to say I enjoy being on the show. I've been doing it for a good while now.
Okay.
And I hope we help people with our ideas and information and advice and that. I hope I hope you listen.
Kathy, say goodnight. Kathy, say goodnight. Kathy, say goodnight.
Go ahead.
I'm not trying to cut you off. I'm sorry, but I got 2 seconds. All right, time's up. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Behind the leather